Hey, Dr. Film here, and yes, I'm qualified to have that name. Before we begin, you should know that this review will contain no spoilers. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for reviews, shorts, and more. And so without further ado, let us begin.
Good.
Let's first discuss the casting characters in this movie. The characters in this film were generic, dull, and dry as rice. Even with Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt as the main focus, their performances were so stale that you have to wonder why they even bother accepting these roles to begin with. Literally anyone else would be playing these characters right now. Not to mention that these robot characters were not all that intriguing either. And please don't get me started on the main antagonist. Yeah, these two actors didn't help this film whatsoever. And if I have to be honest, I feel like Hollywood is taking advantage of this poor man right here. How can you waste such a great actor like this? Not just once, but twice! Stop it! As for the CGI effects, I'll admit, the CGI looks pretty good at times. But most of the time, the CGI can look a bit fuzzy, and there are times where it feels like I'm watching a video game cutscene rather than a movie. And on top of that, the cinematography looks stale at times. In case you're unaware, the cinematography was done by Stephen F. Windon, who has worked with the Russo brothers before in the movie The Gray Man. And as you can clearly see, there is no distinction between the cinematography in this film and The Gray Man. That is definitely not a good sign.
Nope.
Now let's move on to the story. The story is loosely based on the 2018 novel written by Simon Stellenhag. And I thought the story in this film was so perfectly laid out that is so predictable. So predictable that you would ask yourself, do the writers think that the audience is dumb at this point?
That is an excellent question.
Not only that, the pacing was uneven, the setups and world building behind this movie have little to no payoffs, and there are so many themes and ideas so on the nose that I find it so baffling they're trying to make this film so important. Like, this is the first time we've seen ideas about humans, AI, robots fighting for freedom, this and that. Like, dude, we've tackled this 100 times in the past!
I don't believe you.
Overall, my friends, it's crazy to think that the budget behind this movie was $320 million, and yet, this is all they could come up with? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure younger audiences might find this film pretty enjoyable to watch, but as for older audiences like you and me, I don't think so. This is your run-of-the-mill, paint-by-number, human-robot story that you've seen a dozen times before. And I find it highly doubtful that the novel is anything like this. With all that said, I give The Electric State a 6 out of 10.
Did I frighten you?
Well, okay then.